Kristen Denny-Chambers, clarinetist, composer, and founder of Clarinet Playground. This is video number 34 out of 40, going through all of the etudes in Finger Fitness Études Book 2. This one is for Winter's Journey. Winter's Journey is dedicated to Trevor Young. He is a clarinetist and educator living in White House, Tennessee. He served as the second clarinetist in the Lansing Symphony for 11 seasons and frequently subbed with the Ann Arbor Symphony. As an educator, he has been teaching private lessons since 2006. Recently, he presented a masterclass at Austin Peay State University that looked at the psychological and physiological changes that happen in the body during the stress of performance. Trevor received his BM in Clarinet Performance at the University of Colorado, studying under Dan Silver, and his master's in Clarinet Performance at the University of Michigan under Deborah Chodacki and Kaenzig. After 15 years of living in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Trevor left his job, studio, and orchestra seat behind and moved to a small town north of Nashville, Tennessee. He and his fiancée live in the beautiful Tennessee countryside on 6 acres of land. It was difficult to leave his previous life behind, but it's been worth it. He can now be found walking his dogs, tweaking recipes in the kitchen, and shoveling copious amounts of poop thanks to his fiancée's 3 horses. Trevor and I were attending CU-Boulder at the same time, and we often performed together in the orchestra and the wind ensemble. Winter's Journey is all about the experience that Trevor and I had while we were learning and performing Slalom by Carter Pan. If you are unfamiliar, be sure to check it out. I love this piece of music, and I always enjoyed performing music by Carter Pan while I was in school there at CU. There was one spot in particular in the piece where Trevor and I played contrary motion, just a little scale figure, and we had so much fun doing that and would sometimes nod or wink at each other while we played it. Let's take a look at the music. At the bottom of the page, you'll find 1 or 2 practice tips. For this one, it's very specific to the main finger drill and how it appears in the first measure. So the C key can be held down for the entire measure and in other similar instances. Be sure to try all fingering options. We'll go over that here in a little bit. At the top of the page, you'll find 2 finger drills. These are very critical. Make sure you practice them and spend some extra time here. This is what's folded right into the etude. So now we're crossing and connecting registers. Thumb efficiency for these drills are going to be very important because we're going from thumb F and then we're connecting registers. So we're going to be having to manipulate that thumb plus add the register key. So for the first drill, we're playing F to C, and we need to add the register key as we do that. And the second drill, F to D flat. Another thing that I like to do with these is start on the upper note, get my sound very well established, make sure my wind is fast, and then play the drill. For the style and character of this etude, we have blustery, restless, with urgency. So we're on this sort of winter journey. I think about like being in a horse-drawn carriage, going quickly through a snowstorm in the forest or something like that. And that character kind of stays throughout, but the dynamics and articulation shifts provide contrast. So you'll see that at the top we have all these mixed articulations, and then for instance in measure 23, we have slurs and we have a change in the dynamics. So this opening figure comes back in multiple ways, so be ready for it to be different each time. As we take a look at rhythm on this etude, there's lots of variety. Mostly we have a lot of 16th notes, and then we have a lot of this 16th, 8th, 16th figure. Gives you a little bit of syncopation. There are also some quarter notes, dotted quarters, and some half notes. If we look at this very opening, it's very simple as far as rhythm, but it's definitely a finger tangle. But we would just count it nice and simply. 1 T teta, 2 T teta, 3 T teta, 4 T teta. Just all 16th notes, but because of the pattern shifting, it feels like the rhythm is changing. As we look at the pickups leading into measure 5, here's where we have the 16th, 8th, 16th rhythm, and I would count that Te-ta 1-ti, ta 2-ti, ta 3, te-ta 4, te-ta 1-ti. So it repeats itself after that. Then we also have plenty of tight rhythms, and those can be tricky. So in measure 2, we have 1-ti, te-ta, ti, ta 3, 4. Then at measure 13, we have another tie, including an accent, which repeats itself right after that an octave higher. So it's a very exciting section of the music. Bring out the accent, bring out that tied note that's a little bit unexpected. Now let's focus on a few areas. The beginning can be quite the finger tangle. I like to hold my C key, and that was part of the note at the bottom. I like to hold my right side C key down that whole time. So then I'm playing D flat on the left, and then C, and then when I go to my thumb F, I keep that pinky on the C key. And then I go again to the left side for D flat, C, thumb, and I anchor my pinky. Then C, B flat, left for D, C, thumb F holding the pinky, left D flat, C, thumb F holding the pinky, C, B flat, and then A flat. Now, because it goes to C sometimes and D flat sometimes, it can really take a minute to get the pattern figured out. It's taking me some time too to make it really clean. So give yourself some patience and some grace there, and just spend some time getting really comfortable with it. I'll play it very slowly, and you can watch my fingers. The next thing I might try is mixing up my syncopation practice in measures 5 and 7. This is a great opportunity to take advantage of using some different practice tools or practice ideas. So for instance, I might play just the upper notes and leave out the low Fs, and also I would alter the rhythm. So I'm going to start by playing simple eighth notes for the upper notes, and then I'll do that for measure 5 and 7. Now I'm going to play still just the upper notes, but I'm going to play a dotted eighth note and then a 16th. So I'm practicing the rhythm that's going to be behind all of that when I do add the low Fs in. Now I'm going to add that low F jump, but I'm going to eliminate the 4th 16th note of that figure just to make things a little easier, and I can focus on the big jump. Finally, I'll play what's written. Now that I've gone through all of those stages, I'm going to play them back to back so you can hear the entire process. The turbulent section has some fun challenges. It starts out low, it has that accent that ties over, and then it repeats that an octave higher, and it goes quite high into the upper clarion register, kind of repeating that pattern. So counting and punching a little bit of extra air on those accents will be critical to make that come to life. The lightly section is a little bit tricky. It's kind of this transition, and there are some unexpected accidentals, so be ready for that. Here we're seeing the pickups into 17, so make sure in the full measure of 17 you're playing E flats around all of these natural accidentals. Now we'll take a look at some places where it's different from the very beginning. So the opening drill will appear later, pianissimo and all slurred, and then also mezzo forte and all slurred. I think this is way more difficult to play all slurred than with the mixed articulation at the beginning. So be patient with yourself. It may take a little bit of time to get this really smooth number one and to make your pinkies behave. That, of course, leads us to the end of the etude. There's so much going on here at the end with the extra syncopation, the tied rhythms, and then this sort of coda section that's different, where we repeat this syncopated rhythm over and over again, taking it low, taking it high. So I figured I would play this entire section here, starting at measure 24. Now for some final thoughts. Winter's Journey reminds me of riding in a horse-drawn carriage in the snow, or the feel of some of the themes from the movie Frozen, one of my favorites, but mostly it takes me back several years ago when I was playing in the wind ensemble at CU-Boulder next to Trevor playing Slalom by Carter Pan. All of these ideas and influence suit this music well, so enjoy creating your own wintry scene with this etude. To listen to a beautiful recording of this etude and all other etudes from this book, head over to my website, clarinetplayground.com. Trevor Stewart has recorded all 40 etudes beautifully, and they are available for purchase there on my website. Feel free to join us in the Clarinet Playground group on Facebook, where we play and post for each other. And head over to my website at clarinetplayground.com for more fun music and books. Thank you so much.